guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Dream Giveaway Garage, and guess what? We have one heck of a dream machine right here next to me. What is it? It's a 1970 totally restored Corvette, C3 Corvette. This one though has the LS5, which is a 454 big block underneath that hood. But before we get into this American sports car that is covered in what's known as Monza red, let's talk about what's going on here. C3, we're all familiar with C8. That is the current generation in the year 2024. But back in 1968, that was the introduction of the third generation of the Corvette. It's also the longest running. It went from 1968 all the way to 1982. Now by 1982, 454 wasn't even available. Hell, manual transmission wasn't even available in 1982. But for 1970, it was the first year of the 454 LS5 power plant. That engine was put into a Corvette when optioned correctly from 1970 to 1974. And in 1970, we were basically at the peak of the high horsepower, big block muscle car era. Now, with this, not only do we have a 454, but we also have a very rare option, air conditioning. Today, air conditioning comes on all new vehicles sold in the United States, but back then it was an option. So what I want to find out is if you're looking for the best C3 Corvette, maybe even the best Corvette ever, depends on what generation is your favorite, is this 1970 NCRS Top Flight, 3 times at NCRS Top Flight Award winner. Is this the way to go? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, Prince was right with his song Little Red Corvette, because there is nothing better than a bright red Corvette. And this Monza red really checks off that box nicely. Now at the front of the business, you have that Coke bottle Mako shark design. And we see the continuation of the Stingray name. Now at the front, you'll notice we have our pop-up headlights. And down below, we do have functional venting. It's an egg crate style. And then of course, additional driving lights with a little bit of chrome. Now, during the C3 generation, this is where chrome starts to disappear slowly. In 1973, the front chrome bumper became a urethane plastic bumper, but it still had a rear chrome bumper. And then in 1974, that's the first year the Chevrolet Corvette ever had no bumpers, zero chrome bumpers. They were both urethane at the front and the back. Now, as we come across that Mako Shark Stingray point of a nose, of course, we have our cross flags. That is part of history with the Chevrolet Corvette. You'll notice we have our front-mounted NCRS plate and our top flight badge, which NCRS stands for National Corvette Restoration Society. What they have is basically a series of 4,500 points that they go over and check on the car that's either a survivor or that has been restored. And this car scored a 94%, which earned it that top flight 3 times that it was judged. So 3 separate times, top flight award winner. Just love that shark nose on the front of these. As we rise up, you're gonna get that bulge in your hood, and we got the 454 badge. Back in the day, you had lots of different engine options. Another hot one was the small block LT1 engine, that high revving engine, 427s. It really was a magical time for big, huge displacement and power from Detroit. Now, when we come around the bend, you're gonna get your standard wheel. These are the rally wheels, and the rally wheels first appeared on a Corvette back in 1967. It's actually a silver steel wheel with the decorative center cap and trim ring. Now there is a deluxe wheel, which actually was a solid cover. That was optional. We have our Goodyear wide tread tires, 15-inch wheel, but that classic design to the tire to really give it that perfect look. Love that beautiful, nice high peaked fenders. We come into the side fender vent. Every Corvette has a side fender vent during the C3 generation, and you see that even through the other generations, the Stingray name. And then you'll notice that we have the T-tops and we have them removed. So you can get your Corvette one of two ways, T-tops or convertible. So there was no solid top. I think the one option that I would have checked off if I was buying this back in 1970 are the factory side pipes. That would have been a nice extra touch. But hey, you can't have it all. Now, you'll notice how we have that Coke bottle shape, and I love the way the door handles are flush mounted up top. You just push in and the door opens. Of course, this is rear wheel drive. We have posi traction, getting power to the rear wheels. One of my other favorite parts is I love this flying buttress design that comes off of the T-top area into the rear. There is no actual opening trunk. Here is your fuel tank cover. So what you do is you just lift that up and that's where you're gonna put your fuel in. Then you just push down and it locks down. And then we have that classic split rear bumper, the quad round taillights, the Corvette script. Man, that just is so classic. And then we have our slash cut vacuum style exhaust. Not my favorite, but that is the way it came from the factory. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop open that reverse opening hood and see that 454 underneath it. All right, guys, we got that reverse opening hood in its up position, and underneath there is that thing of beauty, that 454 cubic inch V8. That's the LS5. So what do we have? 390 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a Muncie M21 4-speed gearbox. We have a Rochester single 4-barrel carburetor, 750 CFM in size, quarter mile in about 13.9 seconds, 0 to 60 in about 6.3 seconds. And of course, like I said, and I'm gonna have Steven show you as I come around here and point to it, you actually have your factory Frigidaire optioned air conditioning on a 454. Very, very rare, but why don't we go ahead, I don't know about you, I wanna hear what this 454 sounds like. Let's fire it up and hear that big block roar. All right, guys, we're inside this T-top version of this 454 Corvette 1970. This one has optional power steering, power brakes, AC, and posi traction. The MSRP back then was right around $5,100 back in 1970. Even that engine has forged rods, forged pistons, so it's able to take that amount of power, and we got a tilting and telescoping steering wheel. But let's see what else you got back in 1970 to the door panels. Love the red on red. Very simple, but very classy. Look at the door handle there with the cross flags, the lock and unlock. You got your window regulator where you're just gonna roll up the window or roll it down. As you come in, you got your AC vents. You got your little pocket here where you could put some Twinkies, maybe some Little Debbie snacks. And then I love the way they work the gauge cluster in here. You got your AC vents, your wiper controls, your clock, oil pressure, water temp, fuel gauge, battery, and good old classic radio. This is where the magic happens. That is that Muncie M21 4-speed manual transmission. Nice click on the engagement. The throws are long, but I do like the crisp engagement, and you do have your AC controls. Open this guy up. That's where you have your ashtray and your 12 volt. Don't smoke cigarettes, kids. There's your gear pattern. And I like the way they put this extra plate here. It actually tells you how much horsepower, your compression ratio, and your cross flags. Good old fashioned mechanical e-brake. And then the seats, the vinyl, they got your built-in shoulder belt. And then you have your lap belt down below. Of course, manual controls. And I don't know if Steven could show, but there's actually storage in between the two seats. That's your only trunk area. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Corvette. All right, guys, here we are, business time. I love the nice aluminum sill plate, very good looking. Pedal box is a little tight, especially if you have big feet, but heel toe downshifting is gonna be a breeze because of how nicely the brake pedal and the throttle is. There's that clutch pedal, of course. Seats are comfy. I like the high backs to them, but of course it's 1970. It's not like the seat quality today. You do have a very thin 3-spoke steering wheel with the cross flags on it. It is a tilting wheel. And then you have your large speedometer and mega-sized tachometer that redlines at 5,800 RPM. But you know what? It's that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go back to the 1970s and go on throttle in this 70s Stingray. All right, guys, we got the T-tops out, the windows down, and we're in this 454 cubic inch V8 Stingray. And what an experience. I mean, this thing drives as good as it looks, and the sound of that freaking V8, unbelievable. Going down the road, you got your power steering, you got your power brakes, and you got that long hood out in front of you. Of course, very linear torque delivery. And I actually really like the 4-speed manual transmission in this car. Drives really, really well. This Muncie. But it just really shows you where the Corvette has come from in such a short amount of time. And the fact that you have the ability to do everything that you need to and be very tactile. That's what I like about it. But you have this really great experience, very visceral, very raw, and it feels great. It really, really does. You ready? Because I'm ready. Hot throttle, here we go. Really has a great V8 sound. And yes, there's a lot of wind noise, but that's part of the fun aspect about taking the T-tops out and going for a spin. But man, I would love to park this thing in my garage because it really is a dream of a Corvette. Very dreamy Corvette for sure. The power brakes work great. Of course, you have everything else really functioning so well in this car. The clock, all the gauges. Really sounds good, feels good. Here we go. You ready? Hot throttle! Nice. But just an awesome experience to be able to share with you. And just something that, this is my first C3, my ever driving a C3 Corvette, first time ever, and it feels amazing. But we're gonna get back to Dream Giveaway Garage and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a nanosecond. All right, guys, been another great day in so many ways here at Dream Giveaway Garage. Definitely want to thank Lori and the rest of the crew getting us access to this pristine NCRS Top Flight Award winner. That actually really means something to Corvette enthusiasts to receive that award 3 separate times. But let me know what you think. Is this the most iconic of all Corvettes? Is it the most iconic of the 3rd generation? Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. I'll come back for more. If you are a subscriber, then you're being part of the Raise Rise family. Gotta give it up to the Flood man, Stephen Flood. He's loving these old sports cars, muscle cars, and even the modern stuff. He is a lover of anything with an engine and 4 wheels and a steering wheel. So thank you, Stephen, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.